So now Dee Mwango appears with new dog and calls it Matt after putting Matt to sleep. Obviously, the way she was saying goodbye to Matt, you already know that that poor dog was gonna be put to sleep. Matt, you know, in other crocodile tears. So now we're supposed to believe that this new dog is the same Matt that we saw before. You see, with the thing with dogs, you know, they do that to children. You know, when their pets die, they change the pet so the kid would never know, so that we will always think that she has the same Matt, that we wouldn't know the difference. This is a shame. And I know, and the funny thing is she does this on purpose because she's... What's up, my YouTube family? We have a lot to talk about, but before I get to laughing matter, joking matter, I'm gonna first discuss the serious matter. The serious matter is we have in the past prayed for Aymara, and we need to currently pray for Aymara. Aymara's baby is sick, and I don't know if they have enough money to take care of the baby. This may be one of the reasons why the baby went to London, because I believe the UK offers free medical insurance. Medical care. You know, the thing is, every country, guys, have to report to the World Health Organization, known as the WHO. I call it the WHO. The World Health Organization, on how well they are providing health care to their people. The United States is trying to be like a big superpower in everything, for example, and want to look good. And this is why we have to pay such high insurances from our jobs, some of us. Others of us, they pay for us, but they don't pay for our relatives. We still have to pay the high insurances because of Obama. Well, it actually started before Obama. Let me not blame Obama. Because of Clinton. Clinton is the one who institutionalized all of these crazy health policies. He started out back in the 90s with the HMOs, okay? And then Obama had the brilliant idea that, oh, there are still people who are not covered, so they cannot look good as they call themselves a superpower. And then he came up with Obamacare. And not only did he come up with Obamacare, you have to realize what Obamacare does. There are people who are not covered. So basically, he is forcing you, now tell me if I'm wrong, all right, to get health insurance whether or not you want to. So if you own a business, you know, the idea is to go to Obamacare. But before Obama, you did not have to have health insurance, even though Clinton had already instituted his HMOs. So all of these things just make my stomach churn. Because before that, if you are a government employee, like when my mother was a government employee, she was covered under Blue Cross and Blue Shield. But after that, Blue Cross and Blue Shield became a hot shot when it came to comparing with the HMO, and they became very expensive. So anyway, now of course they no longer just have HMO, they have PPO, all kinds of crazy stuff, you know? So Americans are privatized insurance. So places like America, he would not come to because he would need insurance, or he has to pay a very high out of pocket because it's, guys, do you see how much the medical people are getting paid in the US? It's expensive. Imagine. Anyways, you know, imagine nurses, I can tell you, let me share you guys, nurses are making 200K, guys. Especially COVID has brought up the, you know, because COVID brought inflation, and therefore the salaries have increased. All right. So nonetheless, I'm just saying nurses, I don't want to talk about me. But anyways, things are expensive and everything is privatized. It's not public. So in the UK, France, Canada, you know, they report to, they have actually a very good report for the World Health Organization because they provide free. It comes from the taxes. I hear Canadians are paying about 14% tax. So you can imagine All right, but you know, guys, I don't enjoy paying tax. Hey, wait a minute. What am I talking about? 14%. Wait. America, we're paying like 22%. Some of us 35. Some of us 55% tax and high tax. So I don't understand why we have to have privatized insurance. It makes no sense. What am I talking about? And I was back in the days when I guess sales tax is still about 7%. But we are paying our work employment taxes are like super high. You know, super, super high. So it makes no sense why we have privatized health care. Okay? So nonetheless, to justify themselves as a super class nation, the Americans are claiming that you're forcing Americans to pay for health insurance so that they can say that they have high coverage, that everybody in the country is covered for health insurance. So nonetheless, I am Myra's baby Maisha, might have gone to Europe to get free medical care, because we know that Kenya might not have that. I don't think Kenya has free medical care. Actually, speaking of which, you know, as we debate baby Maisha's problem that Myra actually brushed off as if it's no big deal, you know, but those look like the baby Maisha might have varicose veins, but I don't think it is. It looked like allergies. Somebody came out with this crazy idea that it was a fungal infection on my channel. Baby Maisha does not have a fungal infection because the mother says that he was born with it. You can't be born with, the person told me, ringworm. Well, speaking of ringworm, ringworms, I mean, it could be something superficial, like did Rocio get a ring for this baby? Or does she have a ringworm? Or is somebody stealing Dee Mwango's rings? Anyway, speaking of Dee Mwango, guys, so much for baby Maisha. We will pray for the baby because I am Myra is poor. He has no money. Anyways, let's get back to another prayer is Jamaican uncle. Jamaican uncle needs prayer because I hear Jamaican uncle is not feeling well and I am Myra is extorting money from him. End of thing. But then somebody says that he may not have common sense, but whether or not he has common sense, we have to pray for him. When people are getting older, you're just trying to see how far your money can reach and things like that. I mean, this guy seems to have a very nice property in Georgia, but then again, we know that back in the days, everything in Georgia was like super cheap. When I say properties were cheap, they were cheap, and not that the standard of living is that great, because when you look at channels like Georgia Street interviews, you're like, oh my god, you don't want to go to Georgia, you don't want to send your kids to Georgia because it's like all the young women are just ending up on the street selling their okay, let's not get any further. I don't think it's that great of a lifestyle that I see going on in Georgia. I don't know if anybody has any other opinions. A lot of people stopped moving to Georgia down here. In Florida, they used to keep flocking to Georgia, but now they're flocking to Texas. I don't know what is so great in Texas. I just lost my uncle in Texas. But anyways, let's forget about that. Now, let us get to depression, guys. Depression is kicking in. Because it is assumed that, even Myra has said it, that, Kenyans, they're not very close to animals, and we see Dee kissing a dog. Okay, so we see that the state of depression that Dee is in, that this guy, whatever his name was, whoever knows the ex-boyfriend's name, he was never even a boyfriend, he was hired. But anyways, the Mzungu, the closeness that Dee is trying to get with this dog shows that Mzungu was never around in the first place. Mzungu was never a boyfriend in the first place. I mean, first of all, if Mzungu was even remotely a boyfriend, we know how young women, when they're in love, are like, how the heck are you gonna get a dog and start kissing the dog? Okay? It is like Miss Trudy the other year, I would say, making me wonder about her telling a woman, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm like, I told a friend of mine, I don't know what's wrong with Miss Trudy, and they're like, well, you know what, she's just so excited about how well her life is going, and that's why she is telling a woman that she loves her. You know, I'm like, I'm really worried about Miss Trudy here, but nonetheless, now we're worried about Dee Mwango kissing a dog. Okay, it is not in your culture, and she didn't even look like she was comfortable. It looks like she had to rehearse, how the heck am I gonna kiss these dogs in front of these people I don't even like? Like, does Dee Mwango like anybody? So she's trying to show you that she at least likes a dog, but I don't think she even likes a dog. She had to force herself. It doesn't even look natural as she kisses the dog. She doesn't even know really how to pet the dog. It's like she has to rehearse how to. Dee Mwango, get with the program. You don't have to force to like a dog if you don't like a dog. Unless, of course, you are so depressed and they say that a dog is a man's best friend. In this case, a dog is a woman's best friend. All right, so she is learning to be best friends with a dog, since dogs are, I guess, you know, very kind and loving and all that. But the thing is, this dog, it doesn't even look even like, you know how dogs are when they really love their mummies. They call them mummies down here, guys. When I lived in that apartment that I rented to get my new job that I'm at right now, that I'm coming from right now, okay, dogs were all over the place, and you know, because most places don't accept pets, but that was a very pet friendly, so they told me, after a dog lost his mommy, and he was so happy when the mommy came to the office to find his dog. And even though the dog, but in that car when Dee was cuddling that dog was not that very cuddly, even though the dog did look, I mean, it was like, Dee Mwango, please spare us. So anyway, she rehearsed having to kiss that dog, which she did not want to kiss, okay? And this shows you that the YouTube thing is really getting to her. She has ran out of ideas, number one. Everybody figured out the fake boyfriends is not real, so I guess she figures that, you know, how fake can she be with a dog? How fake can she be with a dog? But at the same time, we cannot laugh too much over it, because we have to look at the situation with Dee Mwango and relationships. She has these fake relationships. She tried to show that she has relationships. She doesn't have a clue about relationships. And the sad thing is, even the mommy and the daddy and the brothers, their relationship with Dee Mwango are limited. You know, as much, especially now that Rocio is stealing all of the relationship away from the brother. And the other reason why we have this dog around, particularly with Ayamara, you have to realize that Ayamara was her pet, or vice versa, she was his pet. But now Ayamara has a new pet which she cannot detach from him at all, which is Maisha. So Rocio has done Dee Mwango a great harm by bringing along Maisha, who's not her child, okay? And she has no kids. You know, here's this is not my term, what the reactors call the other one, Gigolo Master. Here's Gigolo Master, all right, not my term, Davy Jr., okay? Frolicking around with this new girl. What happens to Casta? We don't know, okay? If they poison her and send her to India or something, God knows. But anyway, frolicking around with this new girl whom he calls Baby, okay? So Gigolo Master, Davy Jr. has his baby, okay? Baby, whatever the baby is, this baby girl, okay? And Ayamara has his own baby, Maisha, okay? And his Rocio. And now Dee Mwango, and of course we know the older sister, Weenie, has plenty of babies and has given birth to a new baby, okay? So Weenie is not lacking. So the only person right now who is lacking a baby is Dee Mwango. So the dog is there to let the others know that she can have a baby, or she's got her baby, you know, and it's there to solace her over the fact that she has not gotten a boyfriend. I have never seen Dee with a boyfriend, guys. We already know that. She has not gotten a relationship, and the age is pushing, so it's really, really tough. So it's depression. Here she is with this YouTube channel. It's making her money, but you know what? At the end of the day, the money is not making her happy. It doesn't matter how much money that you can make. If you don't really have loved ones, if you don't really have some sort of productivity in life, you're not happy. Okay? And the dog is supposed to provide all of that. Oh, that poor Matt. Matt has a lot on his shoulder, but even so, guys. The other day she was saying goodbye to Matt, right? And one of our reactors came out and made a very good point about this whole goodbye, okay? All right, the reactor of the reactor, which is Madam CEO. And then of course Madam CEO, as she always predicts, whatever she says, Dee Mwango will come out and she'll prove her wrong or something. So Dee Mwango comes out with Matt that was supposed to be gone. So my assumption is that maybe Matt was placed to sleep, because when, you know, Matt belonged to somebody else, so she got herself a new Matt. All right, well, the worst of the worst is that she put Matt to sleep for whatever reason. All right, but okay, let's be more sober here and not think of such a somber thing, and assume that Matt had an owner, that she was borrowing Matt. But if she was borrowing Matt, you know, that would be very costly probably, you know, to be doing these videos with another person's dog. Okay, so the best thing would have been to take a stray dog. So if she was borrowing Matt, she might have put Matt to sleep. Anyways, this was a serious part, guys, that Dee is very depressed, and we need to consider praying for her. I know her mom's praying for her, but sometimes you need a group where more than one are united. This is where God hears your prayers. So we not only need Congrats Mom's prayers, all right, because Congrats Moms seems to be praying by herself or forcing her children to pray with her, but I don't see Congrats Dad doing much of the prayers lately. He used to go to church with her, but I don't know. Maybe he's got a second wife that nobody's talking about. But anyway, we need to pray. A moment of prayer for Dee Mwango. May God help this girl. May God bring her love. And if God doesn't bring her love, I don't know why God wouldn't bring her love, guys, because we all deserve love, like Myra said when he brought in the fake Mzungu. You know, everybody deserves some kind of love, you know, but but the tough part is that, you know, the brother keeps bringing these fake love for her, which are not true, and she has to keep putting up with it and coming up with the reality that these people don't love her, you know, that they may be doing her a favor just because either they are bought, they are paid, or whatever it is, or they are asked by the brother. So all of that is sad, but at the same time, she just needs to come with a grip, stop making it fake, just making it real, and present to us who you really are, not what you are not. I mean, we know who you really are, Dee Mwango. Just present to us who you are as you are. But why is it that you have to put this dog to this torture? All right, if you want to have a dog, you have a dog around, but don't get the dog to act. Just be real with the dog, and it'll flow for you. I mean, things can flow for you. You don't have to be fake, you don't have to act, it will just flow. When you're real, you'll get the million views that you're looking for. But right now, you're not getting the millions because you're trying to be who you're not, and you're not accepting the reality the way it comes. If people don't like you, that's okay, guys. Hello, how many of us people just don't like? But we just learned to be who we are, and it's that simple, you know. Let God guide you to who he wants you to be. All right, so it's not so sad, but I'm just saddened to see you not being yourself, Dee Mwango. That's basically what it is. You're not being yourself with that dog. Yes, it just bothers me how she just pops up with the dog, not the original dog, with a dog, and calls it Matt. I guess she's learning the breeds. At least she knows which breed it is. you know. But this is wrong, guys. This is wrong. If you're gonna say goodbye to a dog, say goodbye to the dog. But I guess she's working with us, guys. She's working with the reactors. I can't say us. I'm not in the picture. I barely react. I barely react. Anyways, the guys are gone, so I guess she has to replace them with a dog. I guess that's her view of these guys, you know. Obviously she was buying them. Just like she bought the dog, you know. I mean, dogs are the cheapest actors, I guess, you could get, because so long as they don't have an owner, you could get a stray dog and let it act for you for your money. It is what it is. So I get it, and I also get it, like, you know, you have reached a pivotal age. You may have even passed that pivotal age. For most young women, if we don't have our families yet, we go through it. You know who went through it? Was the firstborn of John Kennedy, which is JFK's father, the president's father, the president who was assassinated, JFK. His dad, Joseph Kennedy. His firstborn was a daughter, and he ended up putting that daughter in a mental institute. But she lived to be over 100 years old. She was not mentally sick. It was at the time that they used to abuse women. And I guess, and this, I don't know if it had to do with marriage or lack of it therefore, but when she hit her mid-20s, okay, this is when it happened, you know, that it may have been a similar depression. The thing is, we all are looking for happiness. Some of us already have that happiness within us, but some of us have expectations of life. And I know you have expectations of life. And maybe when you don't reach these expectations, they may bring that kind of deep depression. Because apparently you have tried everything. You traveled the world. You've traveled so many countries. You've traveled the continents. You traveled Asia. Tried to get a boyfriend, it didn't work. You traveled Europe. You had a boyfriend from there, that didn't work out. You traveled Jamaica. Got a crush, that didn't work out. You traveled to the Americas. Try to get a Kenyan companion, that didn't work out. You know, and even in Africa. In Africa, you had the world coming to you, but none of them worked out, you know? And I don't understand what you have with the Kenyans that are living in Kenya. Are they not rich enough or something? What is it that you don't settle with them? Apparently, they're not making you happy, okay? But then again, I remember when you came from Jamaica, okay, you made it very clear that Kenyans did not make you happy. So the fact that you're in Kenya is indication that maybe you're not happy in Kenya. But throughout the world, you were not happy. And the reason why you were not happy is because you never found people who loved you. You never found people in this world who loved you. And some people might say it's because of you. But according to the people that you met in the Philippines, in Asia, even your fellow Kenyans that you met in Asia, it wasn't that, you know, you were not selfish. They said how you were giving. You tried to buy people, and they still don't love you, Dee Mwango. So, is it because of you? No, I don't say it's because of you. Some of us just have this lot in world that we need to stop kissing at. Oh, I'm sorry to say that. I know there may be children listening, but children are not supposed to be here. All right, I already said that. My channel is not for children, so children are not welcomed here. So anyway, you should not be kissing arse, okay, to be loved. You need to first learn your self-love. And I know you always try to preach that you have self-love, but right now it doesn't seem like you do. Because you're showing the entire world that you're depressed. And I don't believe in the saying that goes, never let them see you cry. If you have to cry on camera, you have to cry on camera. You cry. All right? You cry on camera. And even if you ignore everybody else who may be like saying things that you don't want to hear, you just cry yourself. All right? You cry in front of them. I'm not afraid to cry in front of them. If they're making me miserable enough for me to cry in front of them, that's my strength. Sometimes your tears are your strength, guys. So you gotta cry. You gotta cry, you know? But this whole idea of kissing that dog, man. The dog who's not even the original dog. Okay, I don't believe that's the same dog, you know? Anyways, so it shows you how much you've tried, that humans are just not nice to you, okay? You are not a romantic writer. You know, the romantics, they believe that all people are good. All right, for you, you have learned that people are not so great. That's all right. That's all right. A lot of us have learned that lesson. A lot of us have learned that lesson, you know, but the thing is, you remember you, okay? You remember you. So build that house, because if you don't build it now, as much as you may feel depressed and you may not want to build it, you will regret if you don't build it now when things start getting more expensive in the future. So build a house now, because it might help you in the future, whether you find love from people or not. It will definitely help you. So if there's any advice that I can give you, you need to find the strength within you. The same strength that you find to travel the world and find loveless people, you will use that same strength to pour it in the building of your house without having any depression. And even if your uncles were being selfish when they try to help you, at least take advantage of the family that was helping you get started. If you have to fight them because they're fake about it, you can fight, and you can find your own people. You hire your people. But anyways, your brother was also once in that situation. Your brother made it work for him after he built his house. So if anything, Dee Mwango, build your house. That's all I gotta tell you, girl.